Good evening. Today I'll be pitching my business plan for my business, Singh Legal Services. So now the reason I decided to give my firm the name Singh Legal Services, well, there are a couple of reasons. Firstly, it was really important to me to have a firm that included my name in it, just because not only am I trying to build a name for the firm itself, but I also want to build a name for myself as a paralegal. Additionally, I added legal services at the end instead of paralegal services because I feel this leaves some flexibility and leaves opportunity for me to hire other legal professionals such as immigration consultants or lawyers, and actually expand the business and expand the scope of the business eventually, as I gain success. So the business form that this firm will be is a professional corporation. I will be the primary shareholder and the owner of the business, and will be making all of the executive decisions. However, this form of business protects me and my employees from any potential liabilities, and it also creates a way for others to invest in my business if they would like. Whether they want to invest, whether they want to be a legal professional that wants to invest in my business and actually work in the business and be part owner, or if it's kind of a person who wants to just invest and kind of stay in the background. Um, Either way, it gives people opportunity to actually invest in the business, and it gives me an opportunity to allow people to invest in the business so I can actually grow the business. Now, for the types of services provided, initially we intend to primarily focus on criminal offenses and provincial offenses. Our firm will provide advice to those charged and will advocate for all of our clients that are charged with summary criminal offenses or quasi-criminal offenses, which are normally provincial offenses. As more paralegals are hired and the business grows, we do look to expand to include small claims court cases, in which we will represent both the plaintiffs and defendants, obviously. Now, there are 5 firm objectives that I have formulated using the SMART model. The SMART model means what the SMART model is defined as is objectives that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So the following are my 5 objectives that are formulated using the SMART model. So the first one is to become profitable by the second month in business, to specialize and take over provincial offenses and criminal offenses market in my region, to create a brand reputation within the GTA, to expand scope of the firm by the second year, and to double my revenue by the end of the year from what I started off with originally. So the demographics for my firm will be more or less the Greater Toronto Area, the GTA, as it is the area that I have grown up in all my life, and I do have many networking connections in this area. Furthermore, the GTA captures some of the more densely populated cities in Ontario, whether that's Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto, North York. All those places are pretty densely populated as compared to other regions, at least. Specifically, I would focus on the Peel region because, again, it's the area that I'm most familiar with. It's the area that I grew up in. But I would also focus and market to the neighboring areas such as Halton Hills, York, Toronto. Services will be available to people of all ages, all ethnicities, all levels of income. However, I may choose not to directly focus on the upper class as much, because as a paralegal, the primary goal is to provide affordable legal services, and the upper class are usually a little bit wealthier, and they normally have the option of opting for a lawyer if they do have the money. Furthermore, being of a young age, I may market my business to a younger clientele. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. The first reason is, as a younger person, it's easier for me to communicate and relate with the younger clientele on a more personal level as compared to the the older clientele, which you can also do, but it's just easier with the younger clientele. Um, Second reason would be as a young paralegal that's just starting off and someone who's only 22 years old, some of the older clientels, a lot of the older clientele will be almost double my age or even 5 or 6 years older. They may not have the same belief in me or the same confidence in my experience as some of the younger clientele may. Just because the older clientele sometimes it's just you see someone a lot younger than you, or you see someone that's very young in a professional field, and at times you may think, maybe this person's not as experienced or not as skilled as the person who's been doing it for 20 years. So a lot of the older clientele might opt and go, I'm gonna go to the paralegal who's been experienced for 20 years rather than the guy who just started his brand new business. So it may be easier to get some younger clientele to come to me than the older people. And the third last reason is if I can get a young loyal client base of young clients, and I can get a loyal client base and provide good services, then I have those clients for the rest of their lives. So if I have clients who are 20, 25, 30, and they need paralegals till they're 60, 65, 70 years old, or whenever they do, then you have a good foundation of clients, I feel. So in terms of market profile, I would want to market to all types of people. However, I would try to focus on the market profile of car enthusiasts. Now, there are thousands of car enthusiasts out there who are part of car clubs such as Northwest Rally or the R Club. Excuse me. And essentially, what these clubs are they're a bunch of people who have a passion for cars, and what they do is they normally meet in parking lots, usually at night, empty parking lots, and it's just like a car club, a social thing. They do events together, they gather, socialize, see each other's cars, give each other advice, that kind of thing. Now, what often ends up happening at these car meets is some of the clients do end up going on to street racing after, speeding, doing stunts. So a lot of these car enthusiasts do end up getting tickets. So I feel like it is a good niche market that needs paralegals often. A major opportunity for Singh Legal Services would be small claims court, as the amount is being increased up to 35,000. There'll be a lot more people opting for the small claims court option over the Interior Court of Justice, as it's easier and more affordable. Government policies are something that my business is gonna have to keep an eye on, because as the government changes, they can change criminal code legislations or even provincial offenses. They can change stuff related to that, stuff related to the HTA. So it's important for me to stay up to date, especially with the criminal changes in the criminal code, because, for example, if the sentence for a certain crime goes from 5 months to 8 months, then my firm is now no longer able to represent clients who are charged with that certain crime, as is out of the paralegal scope. A quick overview of my SWOT analysis. Some of my strengths would be strong networking in the geographical area, vast range of clients and offenses covered under a vast range of clients and offenses covered under the area of lobbying practiced by Singh Legal Firm. Some of the weaknesses may be a lack of reputation and experience, especially being a younger individual, like I mentioned. Some opportunities for my business would be, however, retirement of current paralegals, the increase of the small claims court fees, and I feel currently not many people know that paralegals have such a vast scope of practice and they can actually represent clients. And I feel like as awareness spreads that paralegals also have the option of representing clients, and it's not just lawyers, then more people will be opting for paralegals when they figure that out. Now, what will set my firm apart will be that my firm plans to be a full service firm eventually. And what will really set it apart is the client paralegal relationships formed. As a paralegals, the major selling point is the affordability over retaining a lawyer, and at Singh Legal Services, we're gonna work to ensure that those who cannot afford justice will still receive it by us setting up flexible and reasonable payment options. Singh Legal Services is more concerned about building a relationship with the client so they come back in the future rather than just trying to make as much money off of them as possible for that one case and then never seeing them again. So now for advertising and promotion, the three major ways that my firm will be advertising will be through social media, print ads, and a website. Social media is probably the best way to market for someone like me through platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or even TikTok. Allows you unique ways to communicate with potential clients, whether it's posting like fact videos on Instagram and educating people on the law and making people realize that, oh, this person is very educated on the law, and and giving them cool tips, or doing Instagram live videos and answering people's questions on Instagram live for free, any small little questions that people might have about the law, disagreements, this, that, tickets. And I feel it opens up a channel of communication like none other. Secondly, I would do print ads. Print ads would be pamphlets, business cards, that kind of thing. This form of marketing is more for the older clientele rather than the younger clientele, which I'm trying to get through to social media. The older clientele, some of the ones that are more old fashioned, I would go to events or like car meets, and hand out my business card, hand out pamphlets, and actually talk to people one on one. And then the most important one out of all of them, I think, is the website. I think it's very important to have a good website, because whether someone is introduced to you by a business card or through social media, normally the clients will visit your website, and that's where they will make the final decision if they're going to contact you or not. So the location of the firm will be in Brampton, Ontario. However, all our paralegals, including me, will be mobile, and we will give the clients options of meeting in their home or a coffee shop or a library, wherever is convenient for the client. Just some advantages quickly would be offices in Brampton cheaper than Toronto. Brampton's still one of the larger cities. It has a rising population with a bunch of new immigrants and new students coming in from other countries. So that's a good market to kind of grab a hold of as soon as possible. Some disadvantages would be there are increased travel costs if we are meeting clients elsewhere, and many clients living in the Toronto area will not be able to access my firm through GO or TTC. You'd probably have to take a number of transits together, so it is a little bit tough to make it to my firm. For fees, the strategy of setting fees, we're going to go very simple and straightforward. Again, paralegals need to be affordable. That's what we strive on. That's what we strive for. So I have 3 tiers of payment. Based on the complexity of the task that I'm completing, we got tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So I start off at about $150 an hour, which then increases to $250 an hour, and which then goes on to $400 an hour. For tier 1, under $150, that would be like consultations, filing, research. For tier 2, which is $250, that'll be evidence review, witness interviews, and settlement offers. And for tier 3, which is $400 an hour, is trials, mediation, and tribunal hearings. Now, in my business plan, you can see that under startup expenses, my startup expense for the business is $7,935.95. So that's the initial startup fee to get everything set up. After that, my monthly operational fees, so things like insurance, phone services, Westlaw, subscriptions, rent, advertising, etc., that would be around $2,490 a month. So that's every month. Monthly expenses. And in terms of profit, net profit and loss, I do plan on making a profit on the second month. It is a very small profit of $110, but a profit nonetheless. And we plan on peaking at around November, at where we where we hope the profit is somewhere close to $3,000. So that is my business pitch for Singh Legal Services. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and the little pitch. And I hope to see you at the Singh Legal Services firm soon.